Sam, in person finally.
May in person, yeah. We've had our first hug since May 2021 when we met at one of my early talks.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's great to be here, man.
Yes. But our first hug, our second hug, and now our third hug. So this is episode 21 of the Uncharted Territory podcast. People have been asking for short form content. So we've listened to you, our hour and a half expansive discussions. Sam had an hour and a half expansive discussion here at Campout, and he's been followed around with Q&A that those of you in our Navigating Financial Reset program will know is a great opportunity to kind of discuss and play with some of these ideas. But we've got literally 4.5 minutes to...
So we've been forced into doing the short form by default, Dan. We did try to squeeze in an hour's podcast, but there's so much going on, and that's testament to how many incredible things are happening all over this site this weekend that actually we have got only about 4 or 5 minutes. So people who want the short form, you've got it by default. And we're going to have so much to talk about our next full episode, aren't we, Dan?
Yeah, we've also shown how workfully capable we are actually distilling anything down to a short form other than just to riff on the experience of something.
100%.
Well, in the time that we have, why don't you tell us a little bit how your session's gone and what sort of discussions have come up for you around what you covered?
It's been an amazing bed, Dan. I know you've been here 4 days. I've been here 3 days since Friday, but now Sunday evening. And it's really what I love, which is we've been able at the time. I obviously talked for an hour and a half, and I could have gone for much longer, but it was good. I had a few Q&A. But what was great is everyone's on site. It was really saying, like, I'm going to be around. Come and grab either a hay bale or start around all the site. And so in a sense, it's been the conversation's gone on for the whole time. And that's where you really get places. And Dan, I said, you dragged me online quite rightly when you first met me to come and do some Elevate. I'm really glad you did. But I do love that in person and that ability to connect and really see where we are and help each other where we're at. And it's been so many valuable conversations. I've been blown away by it.
Yes.
And I've loved it. And I want to do more. But of course, we're going to keep doing more online as well because that reaches more people.
Yep.
And I feel energized and inspired by the weekend. And it nurtures the feelings of empowerment within ourselves. Just connecting with each other, sharing our experiences. And I don't get too waxed through it, but it's been amazing. And fair play, because I know how much work you did. You know, you were
exactly. You'll tell the eyes.
Needed to. It's been huge endeavor on your part and your whole team.
Thank you. Yeah, indeed. One of the things that stood out for me, Sam, in your talk, and I've tried to just take sound bites from all the different things that happened this week, and there's been so much going on. But your introduction, talking about a subject where we're talking about finance, technology, and you shared your journey of your kind of health journey, and that you thought for a while that was going to be your path, and you had that moment of deviation of thinking, by going into finance, am I off the path? You know, this other area is all about healing, it's all about love, it's all about kind of meaning. And you said it rocked you. Tell us.
It did, because I began, I sort of fell into this organically, got invited. I was chatting to a guy over a curry, a good friend of mine in the freedom movement.
As you do.
As you do, on a Friday night, who obviously enjoyed chatting finance and crypto because I've been diving into it myself in a deep way in that whole period because I saw the financial reset as a really big agenda and we need to understand it. And he said, come and talk to my local group. And I was reticent, and I did a few more talks, and it just spiraled from there naturally, organically. But I guess after maybe 2 or 3 talks, I bumped into, very synchronistic, I was in Brighton, bumped into a girl I actually knew a one-off time I'd seen her in the Alps. So I organised a holiday for her. She happened to be a client of mine with a travel business. We got chatting. She had a beautiful vegan sushi restaurant. She actually bought me food there. We had a good chat, catch up, talked about our lives now. And she was really just getting into a raw food and juicing journey, really fired up about it, passionate, excited, which is what I was as well when it went through it. And I thought, I'm going to talk about it. And she said to me, Dan, what are you doing now? And I sort of said, I'm talking about like crypto. And she sort of said, well, there's not much love in that or much, nurture. And it rocked me because I did feel that's what I was planning to do. And have I been pulled off the path? Have I fallen off it? And I did have this real quandary, Dan, and I sat with it and it ran true with me because I thought that is what I'm passionate about. But the words stuck with me. What she said was actually, there isn't much love or nurture in that
topic.
And it made me realize, well, even more reason to be talking about it because it needs it. And I also know there are thousands of people I know already on the circuit giving amazing talks on well-being and health and in that message, but I hadn't found anybody bringing dialogues with that kind of energy to these topics that can seem very cold down, like technology, finance, crypto. But actually, as we know, they're holistic, when you look at them holistically, they need all that energy.
Yeah.
And they need it more than the other topics because overflowing them already. So, and that was me actually going, hang on, that was a good challenge to question, am I on the right path and I've fallen off? And actually, it reinvigorated me. Go, hang on, I do need this. And then actually, not long after that, probably Scary Talk that you came to, things expanded from there. And I think it's been proven right because there is such a need for it, such a hunger for it. And that's why I'm happy to facilitate these dialogues that it's worked out. So that was part of my journey to getting to where we are today.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think that for me was a key takeaway. And so many of the attendees, and even one of the DJs that we went both dancing and Christian D'Souza, he stopped me in the morning and said that it's so needed that we bring that type of energy to a conversation that can be very cold.
Yeah.
I think that to me was, I love that framing that enabled us to open up that conversation to a much, enabled you to open up that conversation very much. And obviously on this show, where we're here every week, having these conversations, it's our aim. It's our aim to create that holistic conversations.
And an ongoing one, that.
Oh, yeah.
And that continuity. So I always say I'm not presenting as in at the beginning and end. For the people who've seen me before, it's a continuation discussion. Yeah. For the people it's the first time they've been in one of my positions, it was the beginning of the discussion, ongoing for them. So it's an ongoing process. And I don't view, same with the financial reset plan, I don't view a beginning and an end. As with all our movements towards more freedom sovereignty, there is no binary start, stop, win, lose. It is a process that we're supporting each other through. And no one knows when to go. If we're sharing that journey and helping each other, then it's all the more richer and exciting and just supportive to be on, isn't it? And keeps us out of that fear, which we can all fall into. There's so many challenges, but when you're able to share those challenges and come together, it doesn't seem nearly as scary, and it actually can feel really exciting.
Amazing. Thank you, Sam. And so we're recording this in what's known as the Vortex stage at Campout. The event we've had our closing ceremony, we've got music, we're about to, actually in a moment's time, Charles, if those of you who know Charles Eisenstein, he's about to pop on our screen here at any moment. So Sam and I have been looking for a space over the course of the weekend just to sit down. We plan to do a full interview and actually discuss it in that areas right now. So
is he popping in? Yeah, just join us.
He can join myself. Hi, Charles. I'll bring him in a sec. But we've managed to at least,
I think, done something
here. And as always, we'll be live with you every single week. So look forward to our next expansive conversation on the Uncharted Territory podcast.
It's been Dan, and people who we haven't done a full episode this week, just done this, but get your questions in. What are your questions? What are your burning issues? What are your fears? Because we're just answering that call of what dialogue is needed, what's missing. We want to bring that to space, don't we, Dan?
Absolutely.
And be a platform where we can go to those areas, look at it holistically, and in that way support each other.
Thank you, Sam.
Cheers, mate. Great to be here.
Likewise, brother. Ball house number 4. Thanks again.
See you next time.
Big love.